Hi everyone, I'm Sonia Grover, intuitive life coach for transformation, author and creative. And today we're going to be exploring and how to identify what's out of alignment. We're going to be looking at clarity and the inner state. So we're on week 2 of our Awaken and Align. So let's begin. Take a breath. Drop into the now. Let's begin. So, your inner clarity, knowing, understanding of what's going on, shows you what's out of alignment, and it becomes your outer experience. But how do you get to feel or know what's going on with your inner clarity, with your inner knowing? As they say, the inner reflects the outer. Well, one of the core things I would say is to know what's going on internally, we absolutely have to be in awareness in the moment. So how do we do that? How do we know what's going on inside of us? One of the ways, really, is to be aware of how you are feeling. How you are feeling emotionally, how you are feeling mentally, how you are feeling physically, and how you are feeling spiritually. So how do you know when that's not right? Well, you know when that's not right because you may have a lot of physical issues going on, or you may have something that's come on really, really quickly. You may have something where you just seem to be very emotional about a situation that you wouldn't normally be emotional about, or about a person, or about something that's happened to you. And by emotional, again, if they're the higher states of awareness, and when by higher, I'm talking about if we feel joyful, if we feel laughter, then usually we have good clarity in those moments. It's when we have the less aligned states. So what do the less aligned states look like? Well, they're all the emotions and feelings on what I would call the lower end of the spectrum, if we're talking higher or lower, or more constricted end of the spectrum. So if I'm starting to feel anxious, and I'm aware that I'm feeling anxious, if I'm starting to feel irritated, if I'm starting to feel some sort of, or on the spectrum of anger, if I'm starting to feel frustrated, then I know, and how I usually refer to this, and you'll hear me repeating this again and again, is I've got something out of alignment and I've got some stuck energy somewhere. And the reason you'll hear me say this again and again and again is because when we refer to something that's going on within us simply as stuck energy, it takes the big emphasis away from us having a judgment, from us going into our mind and going, what's going on there? Why am I like that? What's this? What's that? And what it's allowing us to do is go, okay, it's just some stuck energy. Now, it might be very stuck energy, right? It might have got, like the tap dripping. At first, there's just a little bit of a watermark on it. But if it keeps dripping, 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 then you start to get a big build-up of limescale. And a lovely analogy for that is, I'm sure you've seen, if you haven't actually experienced going in caves yourself, but I'm sure you've experienced the stalagmites and the stalactites, which is typically water dripping through the rock formations, and depending what the rock formations are will depend on what the stalagmite and stalactite is made of, but they get these hard, what appear to be like rocks, almost a bit like coral if you like, but in a cave. And that's because it's become solidified and has become very dense, and of course that's what can happen within us. But if we view it simply as stuck energy, then we are much less likely to be having a judgment of it and a judgment of ourselves as to what might have caused that. So, clarity. You're having a reaction, or you need to make a decision about something, and normally you're quite decisive, or normally you go through a process And this process seems to be different. You might take your time to go through the process, or you might might do the opposite of that and make the decision really quickly. And it's based on an anxiety. It's not based on clarity. So we all experience those things. Sometimes on a regular basis, sometimes infrequently, depending what's going on with us, because we are all made up of different emotions, different experiences, different energies. And as we go from, it's a bit like breathing really, as we go from expanding to constricting, expanding, constricting, as we evolve and grow, then we will experience things that may make us feel uncomfortable or are new to us. And we may get those reactions of not feeling clarity. And then when if our inner clarity isn't clear, it's going to affect our outer experience. If our inner clarity is clear, it becomes our outer experience. So I want to tell you a little story about something that's been happening to me lately. I'm in a situation where I need to change my car, and I started noticing that I started feeling anxious. I wasn't necessarily feeling anxious about the car that I was aware of. I was just feeling anxious about the whole situation, and anxious on a day-to-day level, right? So it's been very interesting. And then I sat down and thought, okay, what do I need? I probably need some support here. So I thought of a very good friend and my brother who love cars, know a lot about cars. I just like a car to get me from A to B, right? And I like it to be reliable, and I don't want to spend loads of time looking at it. Some people love doing that. I don't. So the thought of it, just like, to be honest, it's not something I relish, right? So my brother came with me. We went to a couple of garages. We found out what the situation was with my car. I spoke to my neighbour, and all within a day. And then the anxiety just went. And it was like a big weight lifted off me. And nothing had lifted off me. Nothing had changed. All that I had done is almost like got it out of here, spoken to people, had the support of others in that situation that could help me. And they love doing it, so right. They were really happy to help, so that's great. And it just lifted this anxiety that was feeling inside of me, my heartbeat going up a little bit, and I wasn't sure why. And the more that I was trying to question, why is that? Obviously, that was making the situation worse, and I couldn't think clearly. So what I would say is a challenge, once you become aware of the challenge, is really good to speak with others that can support you and that can help you. Anyway, what I'd like to do is a little practice now. And it's something, we all know so many things and so many exercises and tools and techniques. And I will say this again and again, but we don't always remember. And this one might be one you've done before. But what you will need is a piece of paper cut into 4. So I'm going to tear this. So if you haven't got a piece of paper, just stop the recording, go and get your piece of paper and cut it into 4. And just a scrap of paper. It doesn't need to be any great big piece of paper, and I'm just having them that size, okay? So at the top of each one, I want you to write what the 4 aspects of you are. So on the top of one, I want you to put physical. On the top of the next one, I want you to put mental. On the top of the next one, I want you to put emotional. And the top of the next one, I want you to put spiritual. So you're going to end up with 4 bits of paper. You can see my Can you tell? You can just see the writing there if I do that. Yeah, my scruffy writing. Then what I want you to do is draw a line in the middle of each one, like that. See that? There. For some reason there's a lot of light coming in here, which is great. We love the light, right? But can't always, it's not so easy to demo stuff. You see that with a line in the middle, okay? So I want you to do that on your 4 pieces of paper. And these are obviously representing 4 aspects of yourself. Some people, and I, refer to those as our bodies: our physical body, our mental body, our emotional body, and our spiritual body. So let's start with physical. And I want you just to close your eyes. I'm going to ask you a question. And I want you to write down, once I've asked the question, what comes into your mind's eye, okay? So we're talking about our physical body. I want you to score out of 10 how healthy and how fit you personally feel. Out of 10. And I want you to write the number at the top of the piece of paper that says physical. Don't think about it, just write it down. Okay? Just a score out of 10. And this isn't about, oh, am I an amazing world athlete and I'm a 10, or, oh God, I'm so unfit and I'm a 0. This is about how you feel right now, in this moment, with how your body normally is for you. Then I want you to pick up the piece of paper that says mental. Again, same question. Close your eyes. What's the score out of 10 for how you feel mentally compared to how you would normally feel? 0, I feel absolutely awful. 10, I feel fantastic. And then when you've done that, pick up the next piece of paper, and this one, you see, can't see it, can you? Oh, there you go. Just emotional. Okay, so again, just close your eyes, and I want you to do the same thing. What score would you give yourself out of 10 for how you would normally feel? If you're feeling completely in balance, how do you feel right now? And again, we don't want to spend ages on this. It needs to be just what comes into your mind. Take the first number that comes into your mind, okay? And then the last one we're going to do is spiritual. Close your eyes. The number that comes into your head out of 10 as to how you feel right now compared to what's normal for you. And just write that down. You should have 4 pieces of paper with 4 numbers on them. And mine, because I don't know if I ever give myself a 10, right? That's probably a programming thing that there's always room for improvement. But I've scored mine 7 and 8. Now, if I was to think about this, I might have scored physical as being lower because I've had a few physical challenges lately, but it's really in a good place and I feel good about it. So at the moment, my 2 lowest scores, which are mental and emotional, are 7, which would make me think they may be the areas that I work on, but I want you just to pick one, whatever your lowest score is, okay? Doesn't matter which one it is, whichever one it is for you, and I want you to have it in front of you. And what I'm going to do is we're going to go through each of these and I'll give you some ideas as to what it might be that's out of alignment in terms of what might help you, okay? So I just want you to close your eyes, and as I just say the words, just see if any of this resonates. So some of these things could be specific for each element, and some can be across all elements. So would it be helpful for you to be in nature, to go for a walk, to bring that into a daily or alternate day or weekly practice for you, even just for 5 minutes? Would listening to music be helpful? And most typically for most of us, more calming music can help in terms of bringing clarity, because it brings about a stillness. Would some physical movement be helpful? And if for any reason your movement is limited, you could do movement sitting down. You could dance, moving your body sitting down, or moving your legs, or physically getting up and dancing. And it only needs to be a short period of time. Sometimes that helps with clarity because it moves the energy within us. So sometimes upbeat music, whatever that is for you, and that could be upbeat folk music, that could be jazz, that could be classical music, that could be some sort of dance music, could be Latin music, could be pop music, whatever it is for you. Going for a coffee out at a cafe somewhere, perhaps spending time with friends, just being with them, reading a book, watching a film, but being mindful of what you are consuming. Remember, what we're looking for is clarity and inner guidance. Journaling. If you have oracle cards or guidance cards, picking a card. Could be meditating. Could be gardening. Could be doing your favourite hobby. Speaking to a friend or family, someone you haven't spoken to in a long time. Could be nourishing yourself with nourishing foods. Could be cooking. Could be nourishing your body with creams or having a bath or a face pack. Could be a hobby that involves exercise. I've already mentioned dancing. Could be running. Could be cycling. Something that you can incorporate into your day, perhaps that you used to do and haven't done for some time. Hopefully that's given you some ideas of something you could do, and just be mindful of how much time you have to do that, but something that's going to help bring about more clarity. And how do you know that your inner clarity is out of alignment? Well, we've just done that little exercise to score yourself, and if you know, there will always be areas that are up and down, and what's the word? Modulate, escalate. There's another word, but anyway, you know what I mean. Where they move. So just pick the one which is appearing to be the lowest, and just tune in and see if there's something. And then maybe, you know, you could have a little tick list on your phone. You could have a little daily task on your phone as a reminder. You could have it, I'm just looking at it here because I've got one. You could have it as a tick list on your fridge. I've got a fridge over there, so you could do that on a daily basis. Something that just gives you some ownership and accountability. You might even have a buddy that you could do it with, okay? So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that practice. Just an idea of how to get a little bit more clarity within your being. Now I'm going to do a little card reading. And today Just need my glasses for this. Today I have picked Rebecca Campbell Work Your Light Oracle cards. Before we do the card reading, if there's any comments you have about that exercise or can suggest any other exercises for people to help bring about clarity, what's your experience of that, please do pop them below in the comments. Let me know how you've got on and any suggestions you may have for others, because it can be so helpful. I find this, by looking at comments, you can get your own clarity, you can get inspiration and awareness, and it'd be lovely for me to hear how you've got on. So, Work Your Light Oracle cards. So I'm just going to shuffle these and we'll see what little bit of guidance we get for today. We're at the beginning of the last month of 2025. It's flying by, isn't it? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the pack in half and I'm going to pick the first card from the top. Oh, I love this. So this is called, let's see if I can pronounce it, Akasha. Sounds a bit like Akashic Records, doesn't it? Let's see where I can find it. So these are transmission cards. And for me, a transmission is where information is being transmitted to you and is activating very strongly on your energetic being and all aspects of you. So, and interesting, oh, don't you just love this synchronicities? It's on page 112 and we are on the 1st of December 112. Oh, I just love it when it does that. So let's see what we have, and I'll show you the card in a second. So this is a transmission card. Akasha. Let me see if I can get a nice, can you see that? There, that's better, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Your guidance is divinely guided. Just what we're talking about. I love it when this happens. Your guidance is divinely guided. Akasha exists in the 5th dimension and the library of souls. All soul contracts. History, gifts, lessons, and more exist here. We each have access to this information of the past, present and future, and can tap into it at any time. While we have free will, there are also points on the timeline of our lives that are predestined or pre-planned, soul contracts or agreements that were made before incarnating. It could be a company you choose to work for, a relationship you plan to have, or a person you agreed to mentor or help. Whatever it is, know that it is divinely guided and will not bypass you. If you are waiting for a sign to proceed, this card is it. You are likely living out an important part of your soul's journey, and you are exactly where you need to be. This is very exciting indeed. It is a time to call in the support of your helpers, both in the physical realm and the spirit world, to trust the signs coming, to take note of your dreams, to notice any feelings or visions that you receive, for you are tapping into the wisdom of the Akasha, and you are being given the go-ahead to proceed. And here is the work light transmission. Just visualize holding this card, or imagine this card is by your heart. And you can repeat this after me, say it in your mind's eye, or just simply listen to me saying it for this information to be transmitted to you. I open myself up to receive the wisdom of the Akasha. I am ready to download any information from my soul's records that is in my highest good and the highest good of all right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that was so in alignment with what we were talking about. Oh, don't you just love it when the universe joins you, when our higher selves, our souls, our divine spirit, whatever you wish to call it, joins us. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like deeper weekly insights and intuitive guidance, join us inside Patreon. The link will be below, to join us and to see what else is there that might resonate with you. Thank you so much for watching, and see you again soon.